It's time for Davy Downer and friends, the 10 teams that will not make it to the postseason this year at the expense of one of your digits. You lose a finger. I'm sorry, you're not going to the postseason. New York Jets. No playoffs for you. Jets are not going to go to the playoffs. I don't even think we need to spend any time on this one.
I think
they don't want to go to the playoffs.
They aren't trying.
I think they're literally spending all their time evaluating which of these potential quarterbacks, and this could be a fun draft class next season. They have season tickets to UCLA. They have season tickets to USC. They're going up to Wyoming.
Why would they not say, hey, Petty, Hackenberg, get ready, because we're going back and forth between you two guys all season to see which one, if either of you, is worth anything. Why would they? Why you clearly are? You're willfully saying we're not trying to go to the play. So why would you put a vet in there instead of seeing one of these two?
Because of the important caveat. When we talk about how they're not trying, we're not talking about the coaching staff or the players or the training staff or the parking lot attendants.
That's the rub. You're right.
Those guys are all trying. They would like to keep jobs and maintain employment in the NFL. It's the front office.
Patriots. No takers, no takers?
Yeah, I'm not going to Patriots.
Stop it.
How about the Dolphins? Anyone want to put the Dolphins on their list?
I got the Dolphins going back, so no, not on my list.
Bills, does anyone want to put them on their list?
No, not if I only have to pick 5 total.
All right.
Goodness.
So now we've covered the AFC East. Freeland, you're next.
The Browns.
The Cleveland Browns are not going to go to the playoffs.
Sorry.
No playoffs for you. I agree. I do think that I don't know what to expect record-wise out of this team, and I would not my jaw would not hit the floor if they somehow found their way past the Cincinnati Bengals in the division standings. I
do not want look, if you're playing in a division with the Ravens and the Steelers in this year and that's where you are, I'm just sorry. That's not going to happen.
The Cincinnati Bengals and their candidacy. Will they definitely not make it to the postseason? Claybon, I start with you.
No. They will definitely not make it to the playoffs.
So wait, there's a chance they will?
I'm saying there's a chance.
Okay.
Got it.
Cindy Freeland.
I'm outie. Nope.
Nope, what?
They're not making it.
Whoa! No playoffs for you!
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Why?
They lost some pieces. Their guard, Kevin Zeitler, reset the guard market. He went to the Browns, in-division rival. Left tackle, gone. He's a Ram. See ya. You know the importance of being able to throw the ball, especially when you've got AJ Green and you've got a great wide receiver core. I think that their running back situations is going to be an interesting one to play out because both of the guys, Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard, they were in a shared backfield, and both of them weren't exactly the most productive of anyone. And they've got Joe Mixon, chomping at their heels there to see the field. So their running back situation could get better, but if you don't have an O-line, it's pretty hard. If you don't have a great O-line, it's hard to get that run game going and thus hard to get the passing game going. I think that it's really hard to imagine a scenario where this year with the changes that they've made just on that O-line alone,
The Pittsburgh Steelers, are they definitely not going to the playoffs?
They're definitely going to the playoffs.
Definitely. I don't like saying definitely about that. Claybon, you're going to pass on
100% they are going to the playoffs.
I'm not going to say any 100% they're going, but I'm definitely not going to say
Never been more certain of anything in my life.
I'm definitely not going to say they're definitely not going to the playoffs. How about the Baltimore Birdies there, Claybon?
They are my team that is definitely not going to the playoffs.
Whoa! No playoffs for you. Oh, that's going to be a finger right there. That might be a thumb.
So here's what I think's interesting. Last year you saw a pretty hurt Jeremy Maclin. He was not 100%. They admittedly, you can go Google it if you want to. There's some stories that came out that they kind of botched up that contract. That would be such a nice addition, Joe Flacco to Jeremy Maclin. If that works out, that's a good one. I think they've improved, and I think you got a defense that's still a really, really good defense. It's hard for me to say. I think that right now my math is on the Steelers to win that division, but the Ravens are not to be counted.
I agree, and they, as I always talk about, they zigged when the rest of the division zagged there. They built up that defense, and especially the pass defense. It's going to be good. Let's move to the AFC South, shall we? And we'll start it out with the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, oof. I thought you were going to start with the Jags.
No, Indianapolis Colts. Anybody going to rule out the Colts? I mean, some Andrew Luck, It's gray, at least. We don't know exactly what's going on.
Yes, I will. I'm ruling out the Colts.
What?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're getting crazy.
Yeah,
that could be another finger. Sorry.
Yeah.
Playoffs for you. How say you? Why do you feel this way?
Because I feel better about the teams in the division than I did last year. And a lot of it goes to the
Good
same
reason.
The same reasoning I went with the Ravens. I've got to have somebody out in these AFC contenders.
Remember when the Colts were supposed to dominate this division, and people I don't think noticed at least until about last year, like, oh yeah, wait, that's not the team that wins the division every year. It's the Houston Texans that get it. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Finger on the table.
You're putting a finger out there. No playoffs, Duval.
I would like to be clear. I love their defense. I love the addition of A.J. Boye. He's awesome. I'm really excited to see him play. I did see Jalen Ramsey end up on their injury report just recently, which is scary. Love Calais Campbell. Their defense is rad. I can't. But unfortunately, I just don't trust that Blake Bortles is going to be able to get in a situation where he can pass the ball.
Next team, the Houston Texans. No one's going to go there, right?
Nope.
Okay, we can move on quickly from them. The Tennessee Titans, though, how say you, Freeland? You're very hip on this team, aren't you?
I am medium. Compared to I've been listening to a lot of people's takes on them, and I'm not anywhere near as strong as some people. But I'm not going to put them on this list. I'm no way going to go there. But I think some people forget that they have. Did get Logan Ryan, but their corners were really vulnerable last year. And yes, they did address Marcus Mariota is awesome. He took a huge step forward last year, and I totally anticipate that stays the trend this year. And he's got a great running backs. Great. Now they've addressed some of the pass catching concerns. Great. But there's also defense, right? So they did get Logan Ryan, but do you know, and I love Adoree Jackson. I think he was one of the best players in the draft. I love watching him play, but does that necessarily mean
he feels like a weird fit too for Dick LeBeau, who generally requires physical corners. So Adoree Jackson is not that. Claybon?
No, I'm not putting the Titans on a no list.
They're not on no, but they're not on yes.
It's between the Colts and Titans for me, and I'm sorry. And while I'm not overwhelmed by the greatness of Chuck Pagano, Mike Mularkey, this is the head coach. And look at his career record. I mean, it's not coincidence at this point. I'm sorry, Titans. Bad news. No playoffs for you. Next up, let's get through the AFC West here. No one's going to say the Raiders, right?
Nope.
No one's going to – is anybody going to say the Chargers? Were you going to say the Raiders, Claybon?
Dave, I'm going out on a limb today, baby.
No way! You're going to lose a finger!
Maybe. I might lose a finger. I might lose some friends.
Who's definitely not, right?
You're saying the Raiders are definitely not going to make the postseason?
Yes.
Whoa! No playoffs for you. See you in Vegas, right?
It was just so close. It was so close.
How can you? How can you justify?
Comes down to the wire.
Okay.
And I'm believe me, there's so much reason to feel great about the Oakland Raiders, but I just the Chiefs and the Broncos are gonna have better bounce back seasons.
Chargers, unless you believe the injury bug is a legit plague for them, I have them taking a real run at the Raiders and maybe even winning the division. Cindy Freeland, how say you?
They're on my list.
Whoa! No playoffs for you.
My question mark here is in keeping all of the pieces healthy and working together, kind of the way that it's supposed to work. I think they could be great, but I think everyone's being like, oh, the Broncos don't have a good offense, or their quarterback has so much a question mark. So, but Phillip Rivers plays against the Broncos defense. And then the same thing with the Chiefs. People are like, whoa, the Chiefs are they're always really good, but never really, really good. And then the Chargers, you're right, the Chargers could beat them, but I also think that they could not. I think that if you're looking at the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Raiders, I just don't know who's out.
I'm going to say the Broncos are not going to the playoffs. In fact, I'm going to say they definitely are not going to go.
Wow.
No playoffs for you. Sorry, Broncos. I don't love well, they'll be fine with their coaching change and everything else. Are they for sure? So I go Broncos, Titans. I didn't even feel the Bengals, but you have to get the 5 somehow.
Right, you have to get the 5.
Bengals, Browns, Jets.